Hello everybody, this is a video overview of this knife, and this knife is the Eric Oaks collaboration with CKRT. It is called the Avante, and this is a knife that really makes me wish that CKRT would use some high-end materials, because I don't think this knife is going to be popular enough that it gets its own special edition, like the Cricket, where they upgraded all the materials. And as a result, every time I pick up this knife, I think like how close it was to being amazing. And it's really just held back by the materials. The other thing that this knife really has me puzzled about is who is it for? Because of its nice handle materials and sort of complex machining, it's not inexpensive. But at the same time, it doesn't carry a premium steel. So it's like, are you really going to have some guy that buys his knife at big box spend $90 on this? And are you going to have some guy that insists that M390 is as low as you'll go on the steel totem pole buying this knife? I think that it's a really weird spot where it sort of priced itself out of both markets. But let me give you some specs, size comparison. I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like. So first, size comparison. This is a 3.2-inch blade. The knife weighs about 6 ounces. There it is in comparison to the Benchmade mini grip. And let's see how it does on knife edge, because you know the mini grip kills knives on knife edge. So yeah, I mean sharpened point to sharpened point, the mini grip is not that much smaller. But if you do pivot to pivot, you can see that it is smaller. The mini grip's blade is one of the tricks of the knife. It gets a lot of blade length into a small handle. It's very, very heavy. There's stainless steel liners and copper backspacer, and it's not thin. As you can see, it's thicker than the mini grip by a healthy margin. It is also not smaller than a battery. It's right at the thickness of a battery, which means it's pretty heavy. It's tall, even though the handle is kind of, there's no real protuberances on the top. There's the flipper on the bottom. The flipper tab does not have jimping, so it is correctly done. That's it. Oh, by the way, this is carbon fiber. This is copper. I don't know if this is just a bronze-colored pivot or if it's actually something else. I think it's probably just bronze-colored titanium, as is the thumb stud. So let me tell you what I like. So first of all, flipping action. Flipping action's great, right? I mean, it just doesn't forget to fire. The flipping action is also aided by the fact that they put these runways here for your fingers. So after you're done with the pivot, you're not hitting that like jimping or some other rough spot. It's just smooth as butter. The other thing is they crown the spine here. They rounded the spine over, and that just gives this knife an incredibly classy touch. The fit and finish is really good. The centering is decent. This faux hammered copper backspacer looks nice. I mean, there's just a lot of nice touches on this knife. This is a deep carry over the top pocket clip, as you can see. It appears to be only on this knife, which it's not bad. I mean, it looks fine and it works. Lots of good things on this knife. I really like the blade shape. I like this blade shape. I know that the low grinds will bother some people because they'll say, "Oh, it gets wedged in materials," but like you're not splitting wood with this. So like just cut it out. So those are the things I like. I really like all that stuff. What I don't like, I do not like the steel. The steel is 8CR13 or 14 MOV. That is a bad choice for steel. There is no reason in 2019 to make a knife with 8CR13 MOV. Budget knives from China, Ryuki and other brands, they're using 14C28N, which is a perfectly fine and acceptable steel in 2019, and they're using it on knives that are $20 or $30. So there's just no reason to use 8CR anymore. It's just not necessary. A couple other things I don't like. Even though the knife has carbon fiber, and I think it's just the laminate. Yeah, it looks like it's just the laminate. So G10 based carbon fiber top scale. There's no lightening in here. There's nothing here that lightens this knife up. And so you have these thick stainless steel liners and you have the carbon fiber, and it just makes the knife pretty darn heavy. The other thing that I really don't like is I do not like the placement of this thumb stud. It is directly in the cutting path. So like, let's say I go to cut something open. If I'm cutting, let me see if I can do this. Cutting, kadunk. So like really your effective blade length is like this, right? Because you can't cut anything back here, but there's sharpened edge. I don't know why this knife has a thumb stud other than to look like the Oaks Custom Original. But, you know, like, I'd go so far as to say that this is one of those things you just don't need. I mean, it's not the greatest to open the knife with. It's certainly not as convenient or as smooth to operate as the flipper. I'd much rather have the flipper and the thumb disc out of the way. All right, so the last thing is what I talked about at the beginning of the video, which is I don't really know who this knife is made for. CKRT did a lot of nice things on this knife. They made it look classy, but then they gave it crappy steel. So who's buying this knife? Like, there's just not a market for really nice steels, or really nice knives with crappy steels. Like, you don't see custom knives made with, like, you know, 8CR 13 MOV, because there's really no way to get around the fact that the steel is just not good enough. There's a lot to like here, and this is, I think, like an $80 knife MSRP, $70 knife MSRP, but you just need better steel. If this knife had a 14C28N, I wouldn't really complain that much. If it had S35VN, this would be a real competitive knife. S35VN and lighten the handle scale or titanium liners, and this is a knife that would instantly be competitive. The look is there. It looks different. It looks unique. It has great flipping action. Lots and lots to like. This, not one of them. But it's something that I don't know who will buy it. I like it. Not a lot, but I like it. I mean, it's better than average. I just wish it was slightly different. So that's the CKRT Avant. Look for a review coming soon.